Hello, and welcome back to Business English Pod for today's lesson on English collocations for discussing online marketing. Before we get started, a quick reminder that this lesson, along with hundreds of others, is available as a free download from the BEP website. Premium members can also access a PDF transcript and online quizzes for every lesson. If you'd like to take a free trial to preview some of these extra resources, just head over to www.businessenglishpod.com. The world of e-commerce is extremely competitive. Millions and millions of people are shopping online every day, viewing millions of options. How can businesses stand out in this sea of competition? How can they ensure their potential customers can even find their website? They turn to online marketing. So it's no wonder there's so much time, energy, and money put into marketing and measuring performance. If you've ever had a discussion with an online marketing expert, you'll know there's a whole new language built up around it. Think about an expression like search engine optimization, or SEO. That's a good example of a type of expression that we call a collocation. A collocation is just a group of words that go naturally together to form an expression. You've already heard me use a few collocations. Consider measuring performance as an example. The verb measure and the noun performance go together frequently and naturally. By looking at collocations, you can learn words together, not in isolation. In today's dialogue, we'll rejoin Eduardo, Emma, and Neil, who work for a kitchenware retailer. Last time, they discussed content marketing. Today, we'll hear them talking about search engine optimization and some ways of measuring success. During their conversation, they use many English collocations, which we'll explain later in the debrief. As you listen to the dialogue, try to answer the following questions. 1. At the start of the conversation, what does Eduardo hope has increased? 2. According to Emma, what have they invested a lot in? 3. What does Neil say about their English site that might not be true about the German version?
All right then. I think we've covered the immediate stuff for content marketing. So I'd like to dive into SEO. Everyone with me? Good. Okay. So, Google's big update. It's been a month. So I gotta ask, did this boost our search ranking, or did we take another hit?
Well, yeah, we've got some decent stats now, and I'd have to say it's a bit of both.
Okay, curious to hear what that means.
So, here in the US, we're now ranking higher for multiple keywords, ones that we've traditionally targeted. And the dashboard is showing a bit higher average revenue per user, which is good.
Yeah, that's great to see for sure. But there's a but, yeah?
The but is about everywhere outside the US, especially Europe.
I thought we were doing a good job of generating buzz there. I mean, God knows, we sure have invested a lot in promoting our brand.
No doubt. But when you look at Spain, Germany, and France, and in a broader context, China, our search ranking is dropped.
Let me guess. We're having issues with page speed again.
That's definitely part of it, especially for China. But I think there's some lingering issues, too, with how we built links early on in the game. And it's also wrapped up in some language issues.
We use automatic translation, right?
Yes, we do. And while we think we have a strong call to action in English, I'm not so sure we do in German, for example. And that's making it hard to optimize our conversion rate.
Well, that's something we're going to have to figure out, especially as that's where we have the most room to grow, in terms of customer lifetime value.
I think it'll take some more digging. The dashboard alone won't really tell us what we need to do. I mean, it tells us that we've managed to increase our click-through rate on mobile, but it doesn't tell us why that's not translating into sales.
Now let's go through the dialogue again and look at the language and collocations used in the conversation. Eduardo wants to dive into or discuss SEO or search engine optimization.
All right then. I think we've covered the immediate stuff for content marketing. So I'd like to dive into SEO. Everyone with me? Good. Okay. So, Google's big update. It's been a month. So I gotta ask, did this boost our search ranking or did we take another hit?
One of the primary goals of SEO is helping people find your website through Google and other search engines. As Eduardo says, it's about boosting search ranking. To boost means to raise or increase, and your search ranking is where you appear in the search results. Ideally, marketers want to appear as high as possible on the first page of results. Since boosting search ranking is a common goal of online marketing, let's practice some more examples.
Success for us would mean boosting our search ranking to the first page on Google.
With a bit better content, we could boost our search ranking significantly.
Now let's hear Neil explain how well they've boosted their search ranking.
Well, yeah, we've got some decent stats now, and I'd have to say it's a bit of both.
Okay, curious to hear what that means.
So, here in the US, we're now ranking higher for multiple keywords, ones that we've traditionally targeted.
As you can hear, rank is not just a noun, it's also a verb, and we can rank high or low in something. In this case, Neil is talking about ranking for keywords. Of course, when we talk about boosting our search ranking, we have to consider the words people use when searching. These terms are what we call keywords. Marketers will focus on many different keywords to help people find their company and products. A kitchenware company would focus on specific equipment names, as well as keywords like kitchen and equipment. And the aim is to rank high for all the relevant keywords. Let's run through some more ways of using this collocation to rank for keywords.
We rank high for keywords like mobile internet and cellular data, but not so well for the main phone-related queries.
We hired a consultant to help us rank higher for important keywords.
Neil has another bit of good news to share.
And the dashboard is showing a bit higher average revenue per user, which is good.
Of course, helping people find your company through marketing isn't the real end goal. It's about sales and revenue. And one way we measure the success of online marketing is in what Neil calls average revenue per user. A user, in this case, is usually defined as a customer, but it can sometimes include any visitor to your website. If you take the total revenue and divide it by the number of users, you have your average revenue per user. That's a number you always want to see get higher. How else can we use this key measure of success? Let's try a few more examples of using average revenue per user.
We've seen a 5% increase in average revenue per user since the start of our Facebook campaign.
Our average revenue per user dropped a bit as we had a sale on.
Neil has reported some good news, but Eduardo senses there's another side to the story, or a but, as he says.
Yeah, that's great to see for sure. But there's a but, yeah?
The but is about everywhere outside the US, especially Europe.
I thought we were doing a good job of generating buzz there. I mean, God knows, we sure have invested a lot in promoting our brand.
When Neil reports that things aren't so positive outside the US, Emma is a bit surprised, and she uses two related collocations to explain why. The first is that she thought they were succeeding in generating buzz. To generate means to create or produce. But what is buzz? Buzz is excitement and activity. If many people are talking about a new product, then there's a lot of buzz about it. Buzz is something every marketer wants to generate. So let's practice some more examples of generating buzz.
Let's hire a celebrity spokesperson to generate buzz for the new product.
We generated a lot of buzz, but that didn't lead to higher sales for some reason.
Emma also notes that they've invested a lot in promoting our brand. That's another great collocation. Your brand is your public image or identity, especially as shown through visual symbols. Marketing strives to make more people familiar with a brand, or, as we say, marketing attempts to promote a brand. Let's run through some more ways of using this collocation to promote a brand.
Sponsoring a major sporting event will help us promote our brand internationally.
Even if we're not seeing higher sales, at least we're promoting our brand.
Next, the team explores the problems outside of the US in more detail. Let's listen.
No doubt. But when you look at Spain, Germany, and France, and in a broader context, China, our search ranking is dropped.
Let me guess. We're having issues with page speed again.
Eduardo assumes that one of the problems is page speed, which can have a big impact on marketing success. Page speed simply refers to how fast a website loads in your browser. Of course, if a user has a slow connection, the page speed will be slower. But page speed is also greatly affected by the web server and software you use to run your site, as well as image quality, widgets, and other things you have control over. Let's run through some more ways of talking about page speed, a key concern in online marketing.
If our page speed isn't fast enough, people are going to leave the site.
Once we improved our page speed, we found people spent longer shopping on the site.
According to Neil, the problem is not only page speed.
That's definitely part of it, especially for China. But I think there's some lingering issues, too, with how we built links early on in the game.
Lingering issues are problems that seem to never go away completely. And the lingering issue Neil mentions relates to how they built links early on. Links are critical to improving your search ranking. In the early days of the internet, search engines tended to look at website content and keywords used in the text on web pages. But then Google arrived and started evaluating websites based on how many other websites linked to it, as well as other factors. For this reason, online marketers started to create links or build links from other websites that pointed to their website. Initially, Google wasn't too concerned about the quality of the websites where the links were coming from. This led to companies buying lots of links from low-quality sites. But over time, Google became smarter in determining if a link was genuine or paid for. In the worst-case scenario, Google might not only ignore these links, but lower your site's ranking in search results as a penalty. How else can we talk about building links? Let's try some more examples.
Early on, we didn't pay much attention to how we built links, but it's not something we can ignore now.
Publishing unique research on our blog helped us build links from other sites.
Besides problems with page speed and links, there's one more issue Neil mentions.
And it's also wrapped up in some language issues.
We use automatic translation, right?
Yes, we do. And while we think we have a strong call to action in English, I'm not so sure we do in German, for example.
The problem here relates to the language of their website, particularly non-English versions. As Emma notes, they use automatic translation, which means the translation of the site from English to other languages is done by a computer, not a human. What this means is that some of the writing might not be perfectly translated, and that's especially important with a call to action. A call to action is a statement that compels or motivates people to do something, like click on a link or buy a product. Marketers want strong calls to action, meaning they work well and many users take the desired action. Let's run through some more ways of using this collocation, a strong call to action.
It doesn't matter how many people visit the site if we don't have a strong call to action.
A strong call to action should clearly state the benefits of signing up for the service.
Now, what happens when you don't have a strong call to action? Let's hear Neil explain.
And that's making it hard to optimize our conversion rate.
A conversion is when a user on your website takes a specific action, such as signing up for a newsletter or making a purchase. You have then successfully converted them from a viewer to a customer. How well you do that, and how many people you convert, is your conversion rate. And this verb, to optimize, which we hear so much in online marketing, means to make something as good as possible. When you optimize your conversion rate, you're doing everything you can, like having a strong call to action, to convince users to buy something. How else can we talk about optimizing conversion rate? Let's run through some more examples.
We're working on optimizing conversion rates by making the shopping cart easier to use.
Understanding user preferences has really helped us optimize conversion rates.
Next, Eduardo mentions another key metric related to the success of online marketing.
Well, that's something we're going to have to figure out, especially as that's where we have the most room to grow, in terms of customer lifetime value.
Eduardo is talking about growing their customer lifetime value. Of course, value is a measure of how much something is worth, and customer lifetime value is a measure of how much a customer is worth in terms of all their purchases over the course of their engagement with you. You might also hear the expression customer lifetime revenue. This is similar, but revenue is simply how much they spend, whereas value is how much they spend minus your costs. So value here is more like profit. Let's try some more examples of this collocation, customer lifetime value, or revenue.
Your customer lifetime revenue would be much higher if you offered a subscription.
A customer lifetime value of $300 isn't much good if our costs are $250 per customer.
So, does Neil have a good idea of how they can figure this out?
I think it'll take some more digging. The dashboard alone won't really tell us what we need to do. I mean, it tells us that we've managed to increase our click-through rate on mobile, but it doesn't tell us why that's not translating into sales.
As Neil says, they'll need to do more research or digging. We know from our last lesson that the team is working with a dashboard or visual display of key data. That dashboard doesn't tell the whole story, though it does show they've been able to increase their click-through rate on mobile. Click-through rate is another important measurement in the online marketing world. It's a measure of how many people, out of the total number of users, click on a link or ad. That's something you want to encourage people to do, so the goal of many marketing efforts is to raise the click-through rate or increase it. Raising click-through rate is an important collocation, so let's run through some more ways of using it.
With better graphics, we've raised our click-through rate on ads by 30%.
Sure, we post a lot, but how do we know if it's effective without knowing our click-through rate?
We've heard the team use a lot of different collocations. Many of them relate to search engine optimization. Others are about how we measure the success of our online marketing efforts. And all of them are useful for anyone involved in e-commerce and running a website. Now it's your turn to practice some of the collocations we've looked at in this lesson. In a moment, you'll hear a series of sentences with a word replaced with a beep. Repeat the whole sentence, including the missing word. Remember, a collocation is two or more words that we commonly use together, so pay close attention to the words before the beep. For example, if you hear,
It's clear that users are unhappy with our page.
you can say,
It's clear that users are unhappy with our page speed.
after each response, we'll provide the correct answer. Ready? Let's give it a go.
I think with some rewording, we would have a strong call to answer. I think with some rewording, we would have a strong call to action.
Let's really work hard to generate ahead of our product launch. Answer. Let's really work hard to generate buzz ahead of our product launch.
Some excellent work on our website has helped boost our search. Answer. Some excellent work on our website has helped boost our search ranking.
We'll be in a good financial position if we raise our customer lifetime. Answer. We'll be in a good financial position if we raise our customer lifetime revenue.
I'd like you to work on some new ways of building to the site. Answer. I'd like you to work on some new ways of building links to the site.
That's all for this lesson on collocations for online marketing. We've looked at many great expressions for talking about how to optimize a website and measure success. For more practice, premium members can access the online quizzes and PDF transcripts for this and other lessons on the BEP website. Not a member yet? Then just head over to www.businessenglishpod.com and sign up for a free trial to preview some of the extra resources available to members. Thanks for listening, and see you again soon.